All right, welcome back everyone to a episode on co-living properties. My name is SeeWing Yi from the Yi Real Estate Network, and my co-host is Daniel Leon from ShareCasa Builder. Daniel's is my co-living partner, if you will. My network. I refer to him, our members of the real estate investors who are going to explore the opportunities with the in co-living opportunities, which I feel is one of the fastest growing real estate asset class in the country, and we're very excited to do this. And with that in mind, Daniel, can you briefly describe your background and why co-living is your playbook, if you will?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, SeeWing. As you mentioned thank you for your introduction. My name is Daniel Leon, and I am reaching out to everybody from Toronto, Canada. I work for SunCasa Group, and I represent tonight ShareCasa Homes, which is the premier builder of brand new co-living in the USA, currently servicing the states of Florida and Texas in a very, very exciting new real estate asset class. Well, relatively new, but new to most people, which is co-living. Our company's been around for around 5 years now, and our builder side launched in 2025 March. So we've been around, that's what, year and 4 or 5 months. So we are growing at a very fast rate, though. We have sold well over 30 units. 10 of them will be closed as of this or early next month. And we now service up to 4 cities, and we are adding more cities or more models every quarter or so. It's going very, very well for us. And today's SeeWing, I wanted to talk to you about two of our new West markets, which are technically a step above from where we started, and I'm very excited for them. As some of your investors might know, we started out in the city of Jacksonville, Florida. That is a very, very exciting city with a lot of potential, a lot of demand for affordable housing, and therefore a lot of demand for co-living. When we started, nobody was building brand new anything in Jacksonville. It was all old renovated units, shared bathrooms. Some of these houses, SeeWing, are around 50, 60, 70 years old. We're talking about an old stock of houses that were being turned into co-living. We came in, we introduced our first concept, and a year later, there's at least three competitors already doing the same thing. So feels to me like we're doing the right thing. Jacksonville is now our entry-level market, and we have two newer ones, which are the cities of Orlando and Tampa. These are They're all very, very strong markets. All of our builds bring back in the range of 20% ROI. It's just more of each city has its own profile. So if Jacksonville's entry level, Orlando sits right in the middle, both map wise and investment wise. It's more expensive than Jacksonville, more affordable than Tampa. It has higher numbers in terms of returns, and it has less competition. It's also Orlando, a very developed city with a great airport, very centralized. It's always going to be a city on demand. And Tampa, our newest market with one of our most exciting units, I'm going to go through these in a minute, is a very, very hot market for co-living. So without further ado, SeeWing, I'm going to share my screen.
Very good. Excited.
Here we go. I changed the ShareCasa title to show our 1414 model, which I really, really like, the Bella. It's a very popular model for us this year in Jax. Now, real quick, I know I already spoke about ShareCasa, so I will be brief. Our company is the vision of my good friend Michael, who has decades of experience in real estate, both in USA and Canada. We are a cross-borders company with tons of international clients from all over the world. And the vision behind our company is that we are a one-stop shop for investors. ShareCasa is the builder. Everything that we build has been underwritten and designed to be a high returns investment. It just happens to come in the shape of a real estate asset. a home, if you will. And that brings us to the world of co-living, which, as we just discussed, is the most exciting, most profitable real estate asset class available to you today. Prior to us entering the market, as I mentioned earlier, all of the stock for co-living was used homes, very old, renovated for the market. They would have almost always shared bathrooms, no private bathrooms, maybe for one room in the house. The rest are all shared, limited parking, etc. It was remains a very entry-level setup for co-living. Enter ShareCasa Homes. We build them brand new from the ground up. You're getting a brand new house with a warranty, with a beautiful modern design, up to modern code, and a private ensuite bathroom in every single bedroom. That is the ShareCasa advantage, ShareCasa guarantees. And lastly, co-living. What can co-living do for your investors, SeeWing? Number one, the most obvious, much higher rental income per property. We're talking between 20 and 50% higher compared to legacy forms of rental. By offering lower rental terms and more accessible terms altogether, you're going to get very, very high occupancy. That is the secret behind co-living. By making it accessible to the affordable housing market, we get extremely high occupancy rates, north of 80% in any city that we build in. That being said, let's get into the units and into the cities that we are discussing today. The first model that we are bringing to Orlando is our Sofia 7.7. This is our base model. I quite like it. I think it's quite beautiful. This is the phase 2 of the model, so it is the upgraded design. It's been improved from its original design, and it comes with a host of upgrades. We now have 9-foot ceilings. We have quartz countertops throughout the whole house. We have showers with tiling instead of tubs, much higher level. Overall, a much better design, superior to anything on the market. It doesn't look like a rooming house. It looks like a beautiful home that people will want to live in. These units are selling in Orlando for $450,000. That includes both the land and the build. So it's a very reasonable price, gets you a brand new home ready for the market with 7 bedrooms and 7 bathrooms. Real quick, because I know we don't have all the time in the world today, you're looking at a gross potential income of $9,000 plus per month. Overall expenses in the $6,000 range. That includes everything from mortgage, insurance, property taxes, property management, and platform fees. Everything is globalized in that number, which leaves you with a potential cash flow of $3,200 per month once the house is fully occupied and stabilized. As the stabilization process of all homes ranges between 1 month and 3 months. I say ranges because we had houses that in less than a month they were fully occupied, but the majority take about 90 days. ROI for these homes, 20%, which is in the range of most ShareCasa builds. They come with parking for 3, front yard, backyard. Again, this looks just like a regular home and brand new. Here's a few images of homes that are already in the market. So these are being fully furnished by us. Our furniture package is an additional cost of $18,500, and it is quite comprehensive. It's going to furnish the entire house. Every bedroom gets some bed, work area, work chair, mini fridge, the mirror, all the decoration, all the linens, everything for the bathrooms. You're going to get all the appliances, obviously brand new with an extended warranty, a fully stocked kitchen, digital doorknobs, and a digital thermostat. This here is an example of our old bathrooms. The new ones do no longer have tubs, as I mentioned. It's an upgrade altogether. That house is closing in a few days. Once it does, we'll have even more images to show. And that here is our floor plan, pretty straightforward. Your main entrance at the bottom, kitchen and dining space is shared. Everything else is a bedroom with a private ensuite. So we're talking about the same model that we launched in Jacksonville with the phase 2 improvements, but in a city that's more developed, which in this case is Orlando.
So Daniel, may I interject something?
Of course.
Yeah, so the down payment, approximately $150,000, most likely is 25% down payment with a DSCR loan. whatever interest rate is, plus closing costs, plus the furnishing package, which is almost 20,000. That's how you came up with the number of total $150,000 deposit. Am I right?
So
Approximately.
the deposit, sorry, no, that's incorrect. Orlando is a more expensive city in every aspect. That includes cost of land, cost of build, permitting, etc. Orlando costs more. So your construction deposit is 150,000. That all goes towards your down payment. Essentially, it becomes your down payment. So in this case, it's around 32% down payment. It's 67% LTV DSCR. And then on top of that, you have your furnishings and your closing costs. So you're looking around the 200 mark roughly for this home, all
Okay.
in.
All right.
And
Okay.
that's where all these numbers come from.
Okay.
And yeah, it's definitely a higher upfront cost. This is the trade-off of going to nicer cities. We have to put more money upfront.
Yeah, I understand. That's pretty reasonable, given that the returns speaks for itself when you have a 13.9% cap rate. That is really, really very, very high,
Correct.
and ROI is very high. Cash flow is 3,228. That's very, very high, and the per room per month is around $1,300 because it's a one bedroom, one bathroom compared to a
Correct.
shared bathroom of another uh, co-living property. They are charging maybe lucky to charge 1,000, maybe even less compared
Def
to.
Probably very likely less, for sure. Once you have a shared bathrooms, your returns go down dramatically. Now, this is for the city of Orlando. I also wanted to show you one model that's upcoming for the city of Tampa. This is very, very new to us, even though we already sold three of them. People really like the design. The city of Tampa is even higher on the scale than Orlando. There's a higher entry cost because Tampa, again, the land costs more and the construction itself in Tampa is significantly more expensive. This is because in Tampa we have weather events and construction needs to be with concrete block. Concrete block adds to the cost and it adds to the build price altogether. Now, our Chloe model that we are bringing to Tampa is going to be our flagship model. This is going to be the image of ShareCasa very, very soon. And the goal behind this model is a slightly more upscale co-living. So it will still be affordable housing in terms of cost, but we are now aiming to target a more affluent market. It could be single young professionals that live in the city and they want to live in the city that they work in a very centralized area, in community with like-minded individuals without compromising their living quarters. So it's gonna be a place that maybe when you were younger and you just started work and you had a nice job, instead of paying too much for a condo or for a house, you would rent a room in this house, maybe with your friends, or maybe you would make new friends of like-minded individuals. The Chloe has 8 bedrooms, again, each one with its own bathroom. And as you can see from our elevation floor plan, it has a community space in the middle. Right now, it's an atrium slash patio. It could really be anything the investor wanted. It could be a lanai by covering it up. It could be a barbecue area. It could be a gym. It could be enclosed space for co-working. It could be literally anything. You could offer additional services in this house. You could buy this house and turn it into SeeWing's lifestyle co-living home where you house individuals and then you have yoga classes twice a week, maybe dance classes once a week, maybe you throw a barbecue in that space at the end of every week. The sky's the limit with what you can do with this design, and we are very, very excited for it. So, like I
What's that?
said,
Yeah, what's the
sorry,
square footage per room square footage approximately?
110.
Okay, all right. So, all right, okay, very good. So the workforce tenants will be a little bit higher in terms of salary scale. They for someone paying 1,300, they will probably be making 50, 60, $70,000 a year, most likely, well,
Potentially.
potentially. Can you accommodate more than one person per room from time to time, like a
Yes,
like a
like a couple.
a married couple, or a boyfriend girlfriend, or a single parents, a single mother with a young son, or single father with a young daughter, whatever. You can
Yes. Short answer is yes. They have to put in the request via the platform, and your property management team has to approve it. Because co-living platform rules, that's PadSplit, the platform that we use, their rules are very strict. Only the member can actually be inside the room at any point in time. You cannot have guests. You cannot have sleepovers. You cannot have parties in your room, none of the sort. So if you are, for example, a married couple and you want to rent the room, that's fine, but you have to put in a request. It
So,
is it
yeah,
is a good trade-off because you pay more per week when it's two of you.
right.
So it's at least $70 more per week. So it's a very, very good deal for the
Yeah.
landlord.
So both members have to be registered and approved by Passport. I mean,
Yes,
the multi-occupant party.
100%.
Right, got it.
Registered, um, checked by the platform, approved by them. All of that is required before they can rent any room.
Yeah, that's very good. Very good idea. Very enticing. Yeah, proceed. Go ahead.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, no problem. The rest is real quick. This, I just wanted to show you some more images of or some of our existing homes. This again have been fully furnished out by us. They are the best homes in the market when it comes to co-living and better than many actual family homes right now. Fully furnished, very modern, very spacious, very bright. We like to build in areas where the cost of building remains accessible. So all the cities that we chose, they are very accessible cost-wise. You know, the most expensive house we discussed was $600,000. That's fairly reasonable. You're acquiring a home in a city that's very, very exciting, very, very popular, and that's going to cash flow for you every month. This makes your vacancy minimal because of the occupation being so high. And your maintenance costs, they're not really there because this is a brand new house with a warranty. You're not dealing with the surprise of that 80-year-old house that you bought, hoping that there's nothing wrong. This is just all brand new, which is really, really exciting. Now, really quickly, I wanted to go through some statistics for the cities that we're discussing, and we're going to use the platform for that. So here we are on PadSplit. I want to disclaim I do not work for PadSplit. They do not work for me. We partner up and it's more of a friendship. So they give me a lot of advice on how to improve our service and vice versa. They are an entirely separate entity. So when I show you these numbers, they are entirely theirs, which is honestly, it's really useful for us to show someone else reflecting the success of our product. So let's go through Orlando first. Here we have some of the figures for the city of Orlando. It has currently 1,500 active units and 77 upcoming units. By units, they mean rooms or doors, not actual houses. So that is about 1,000 doors less than the city of Jacksonville. One of the great things about Orlando is that it has way less competition in terms of co-living compared to cities like Jacksonville. So not only are you getting a nicer city in that sense, you're also getting less competition and average occupancy is now at 82%. That's 2% above Jacksonville. Recommended pad split price for a room with a private bathroom, $301. I think that's amazing, honestly, and I'm super excited for that.
Yep, agree.
Those are city averages. I can even show you a couple of zip codes where we sold some lots already. And is these three guys right here. So 32808, look at these numbers. 283 per week, 93% average occupancy. Isn't that
Wow.
crazy? That's the average. Not the top, but the average. And then this other one, 32811, 318 per week. So really high. Also 93% average occupancy. So Orlando's a very, very exciting city. It's desirable because it's Orlando. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows that it has a great airport, that is a hub. It has the parks. It has all the hotels. All the staff that works at those units are ideal co-living customers. So that is Orlando. Very, very exciting market. Still very well priced. Highly recommended. Now, our other market that we were introducing today is the city of Tampa. Tampa has 2,600, almost 2,700, 2,700 active units. So it has already more, but look at the demand. We're looking now at 85% average occupancy for the whole city. The demand in Tampa is higher than in any of the other cities that we build in. Average price per week for the whole city, 312 with a private bathroom. And if anyone had any doubts, compare the price between private bathroom versus shared. It's 209 with a shared bathroom, jumps to 312 with private. So the investment of a brand new build with private ensuite bathrooms really, really pays off in your weekly room price. Also, the demand for that room itself, because nobody wants to share a bathroom. I
Yep.
don't want to share a bathroom. I don't want to share a bathroom with my own family, right?
Exactly.
So that amenity, that extra step really sets us apart and is really, really good for the investors. Do you have any questions about these cities?
No, no, I'm very familiar with this city because for the past 20 years, my out-of-state investors have been buying build-to-rent long-term rentals in Orlando, Tampa, in Jacksonville, and even in Houston all these years. And I myself, over the years, have owned turnkey cash flow long-term rentals in Jacksonville, in Orlando, in Tampa, and in Houston personally.
Wow, you beat us to it.
So I'm very familiar with this market. I'm very familiar with the zip code. So my investors are transitioning from a long-term rental built to rent model into a co-living model is an easy transition. So they understand the value of investing in this in Sunbelt, good, excellent markets that have a population growth, job growth, migration growth in Florida and in Texas. So we are all in. We love the future of these markets and co-living. You guys are in the right location, in the right zip code, and you guys done everything upfront on the behalf of investors. So out-of-state investors does not have to waste time to do their own research. It takes years to do their own research to do what you guys already done. You vetted the market, you vetted the whole system, you have a track record. So yeah, good, very good so far. Okay, what's next?
Thank you, Steven. Something that I wanted to mention. So I had a meeting with the Pad Split reps very recently, and they were looking at what we were doing. They love it, obviously, because we're bringing more co-living to the States. But they said something that's similar to what you just said. One of their main reps said, what Daniel and Michael are doing is really, really excellent, particularly for people out of state that are remotely, that probably are decently wealthy. They have good incomes. They want to take their money and put it to work. And these people might live like your investors. They might live in California. They might live in New York. They might live in Canada, South America. They are not the kind of people who are going to be driving around any of these cities, looking for an old house that's big enough, decent enough in condition, for sale in a good location, buy it, and then find a renovations team, renovate the house, turn it into a co-living home, and then put it on the market. Like almost nobody has time for that. Instead, they can come to ShareCasa, and with a very basic deposit, we build them as many houses as they want to order. And then they just close on it when it's completed, like purchasing a regular home. We make it super easy. So if you have an investor that says, man, I really want to buy 9 houses, no problem. We can do that. You don't have to go looking in the market, looking for some aftermarket deal, hoping that it works, buying an old house. So I agree with Pat Split in this case. Like we are perfect for that kind of investor who has a decent income and wants to put their money to work and generate wealth. Really, that's what we're all about.
Yeah, that's why Daniel, your team, your system is are in aligned with my philosophy and my investors. And what we expect is a turnkey approach. You're using PassSplit. PassSplit is the marketing tech platform
Yes.
who pre-screen all the high quality members, tenant to your rooms. They charge 10 days of a processing fee of your first month's rent, and afterwards, PassSplit will charge 8% of your gross rent to do rent collection and communicate with the members, and you have a co-living property management
Yes.
ShareCasa Property Management. He does all the work, all the everything on behalf of out-of-state investors. So our out-of-state investors are hands off,
Completely hands off.
co-
100% turnkey.
so which is very, very comforting to hear that.
Right, because who's got time to manage these units when you have a job, you have a family, you are out of state, but you want to invest in co-living, which makes sense because it's what makes the most money right now. So absolutely, ShareCasa and its property management team will handle absolutely everything for the investor.
Some of my investors already, they're working with your team. They have purchased several properties. It's under construction, of course, but the key is they want to scale the portfolio. They want to own 3 or 4 co-living property through your guys that could total like 30, 40, 50 doors eventually. And at the same time, our expectation is for long term, uh, it can do it. You can scale your
Absolutely.
product, your system long term and still hands off. And it doesn't matter, 40 doors, 60 doors, you're still 100% turnkey. We delegate, we outsource. It's hands off. You guys will handle all the work. We just sit back uh,
And
and,
collect.
and collect the mailbox money
Yeah.
at the at a beach somewhere, drinking Mai Tai, chilling out.
And I'll tell you something else that we like to do. We're also very strategic because by now we have multiple builds and multiple cities, and different investors have different profiles. Like in Houston, we have that our large family, multi-family co-living complex that's perfect for a group of investors that's looking to really scale. But the ones that we spoke about today, what I really like about them is that they are perfect for that individual investor. I was speaking with a lady recently and she was asking me about future strategies, like what can she do with a co-living house? And I said, well, if you look at our Sofia design, for example, because she was looking at Orlando, it's a beautiful home. It looks like a home. You cannot say that it looks like anything but a home. You could buy that, be one of the first brand new co-living houses in Orlando, collect cash flow for 10, 15 years, you know, what sky's the limit. And maybe at that stage, you might decide that you are done with co-living, or maybe the market has shifted into something else. That's perfectly fine because now you have a house that's a beautiful home. You just tear down a couple of drywall dividers, and you have a regular home with 4 bedrooms in Orlando, which is always going to be a beautiful city in demand. So for her, this is a great plan to own a property that generates wealth, and she owns a house that will always be valuable.
Okay, let me put it in my the way I understand what you just said. Some people concerned, in the future, what if co-living gets too saturated or this asset class may not be, at the top of the food chain in terms of rental properties. Like you guys are already thinking ahead, meaning
Yes,
there's a plan B, there's a backup plan. It is an exit strategy. So what I hear you saying is that, like you said, 10, 15 years later, if an investor, if an owner, if a host does not want to do co-living anymore, they could transition this particular nice house into a long-term rental and collect cash flow in traditional long-term rental, or in Orlando, you might even turn it into a short-term rental Airbnb if somebody want to,
you
or
are correct.
or
That is true. You could Airbnb it. That is also true.
or the owner can make it a vacation home and just keep
Yes.
it to themselves as a retirement home, because Orlando is a great retirement destination. So,
Exactly. That's the point I was making. Orlando is such a nice city that is like people love Orlando in general. So you're buying a house in Orlando. It just so happens that it also makes you a lot of money.
mhm. Yeah, we really mitigate you with you guys and myself with thinking ahead 10, 15, 20 years later. We want to, you know, you buying a great location, that is so critical. Buying in a good location, right? And like I said, I mean, we have mitigated the risk, right? Any concerns about the risk of co-living, we just addressed those. So investor, after do some additional due diligence and research, they they should feel very good. We just clearly described to them the exit strategy. So if an investor understand, the pros and cons and understand there is a exit plan, they could feel a lot better with more confidence to pull the trigger on this amazing co-living asset class, new construction, rent by the room, one bedroom, one bathroom, which 95% of the co-living rental properties across the platform and across the US, 95% are not new construction. 90% of the co-living houses throughout the country, and there were like 35,000 co-living units, right? All over the country is fast growing, as reported by PassSplit.
Correct.
And most of them are conversion, renovated older houses that have a 10-bedroom, 3-bath. You have 4 members or 3 or 4 members sharing one bathroom on those renovated, converted co-living houses compared to our amazing so-called luxury co-living model that we're.
It is true. It is true. It is the premier product. Sorry. It is the premier product in the market. My apologies. People always call me when I'm on Zooms.
Of course.
I know they time it perfectly. So
Yeah.
it is the premier product in the market. It is the best out of all the co-livings out there that you can acquire or rent. This is the best there is. So, and it's still accessible. So that's a point I want to make. It's not like this is something super unattainable only for the select few. No, no, we made this very, very accessible. The cost is on par with the cost of housing in all of these areas, but it's brand new with a warranty. You can't go wrong.
Exactly. Okay, great. I think we only have 5 minutes left before we conclude this presentation. So any additional important things you need to cover before we sign off?
Well, on top of your knowledge and your experience, which I really appreciate, and our efforts to build brand new co-living, I also wanted to reiterate that we have a very, very close relationship with PadSplit. And I think that sets us way above the competition in the sense that most people now are just builders. They'll just build your house, hand you the keys, hope that you do well. They don't care where they build this house because why would they? They're just builders. They don't analyze the market. They don't choose lots based on location and demand. They don't do any of those things. That's all we do really. We sit here together, you and I, and we look for the best possible locations, and then we double check with the platform itself that works directly with us. So I think the ShareCasa advantage is very, very real, and it only grows year over year.
Daniel, let me say this. My core philosophy with the Real Estate Network is we care for our clients, for our investors. Long term, they buy property through my network, in this case, through you guys. We have a long-term relationship. We're going to monitor our clients over time, and we treasure them. And you, as a platform, you guys have your own in-house builder, your own in-house co-living property manager. What I really love, because we have already some clients already contracted with you, is the customer experience, the member experience. Okay, your co-living property manager, your SeeWing property manager, does a good job of of have a good like a hospitality experience with the members, right? And as a result, we believe your average length of stay for your members, we project to be at least 9 months to a year. And I believe my projection is that at least 1/3 of your member tenants gonna stay longer than a year. So with that in mind, think about it. I just thought of this. The return you guys have, 13% cap rate, at least 25% ROI. It's equivalent to short-term rental Airbnb return, but the we have a kind of a long-term rental scenario occupancy rate, which is, the less turnover you have, the higher level of member experience, because they occupy a nice, clean house in a good neighborhood. They have a private bathroom, so they do coexist. This co-living experience 7 or 10 strangers, they do get along. We have a proof of concept. Okay. And these things, 10 strangers, sometimes they're not strangers, although they're very busy. These members that occupy your rooms, they work hard. You allow them to decrease their housing costs by 30 to 50%. They love this, right? Because they move in with a toothbrush. That's it, right? And
It's true.
that's pretty much
100%
it.
true.
Because they move into your great luxury room with with an internet connection, utility hookup, water, electricity, uh, garbage pickup, furnishing.
All included.
The bed is furnished. The landlord pay for the furnishing package, table, lamp, and mini refrigerator, and the common areas. You have very large bathroom, all categorized by room, so there's no very little conflict between one member to another in a house. So we see this co-living experience really people can enjoy. They don't have to be friends, right? Those strangers living in this kind of co-living house, but they could be friends. But if anybody provide any kind of friction, we evict them, quickly, easily. If the eviction rate is like 1%, to my knowledge, 1% eviction rate, because when a workforce tenant rent your per room situation, they don't want to leave because they can't believe they rent a beautiful room, beautiful house in a good location. They save money, so they don't want to leave. They want to. I know the minimum stay is 3 months. The average stay is about 9 months per.
6 to 9 months,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, 6 to 9
Yep.
months, which is that's really really nice metrics. So anyway, that's my recap. Any final words from you before we sign off?
No, no, I'm good. This was great. Thank you so much, SeeWing. I look forward to speaking with you again soon.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I have your contact information. Anybody contact myself or you, our contact information is on the show notes below. With that, you want to give out your contact information, your email, your phone number, just in case people want to reach out to you directly from this.
So we can be reached at www.shrhomes.com. That's ShareCasa Homes, SHRHOMES.com. And you could also email me at daniel@shrhomes.com. That's all together. I'm always available, and I would love to meet all of your investors and bring you to the amazing world of co-living.
Absolutely. Look forward to it. Thank you so much. Have a nice day, everyone. See you guys next time. Everyone, bye-bye.
Good night.